Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Agro33 press conference. Chad v. Fro in the main event. Ed Cobby versus Stan for the vacant 155-pound strap in the co-main. It's going to be an exciting card. I personally am pumped for it. We've got a ton of good fighters here to provide some insights, their thoughts on what might happen tomorrow night. First, we're going to bring up a member of the co-main event, Stanley, former 155-pound champion, two-time actually, looking to make a statement up a weight class. Stan, how you doing today?
Oh, hello, sorry. Whew. Chad was
Good,
being
all
Chad.
good. Stan,
Anyway, I'm all good.
First thing I want to ask you, man, is with that experience down at 155, are you used to having the pressure of a title fight? Or do you think that at that level, there's still some nerves before those big bouts?
I think I'm more nervous for 3-round fights than 5-round fights because the way I fight is I want to pick you off and then just finish you in the 3rd or 4th round. So when it's a 3-round fight, I do panic a little bit. So these title fights, I actually find less pressure. Like I enjoy them more.
Playing into the game plan.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's all part of the game plan.
Last week, I believe you had Nick, and we saw a couple issues with the movement, right? He was starting to maybe effectively chop those legs and break you down a little bit. Have you made some adjustments coming into this fight?
I actually have, and that's something I wanted to talk about. I think you're going to see a very different Stanley in this fight. Not Conor McGregor failure masterpiece. I mean, like legit different, because I was playing like that in divisions, and I realized there's a much more efficient way to use movement on this game. And I've been working on it for like weeks, but I never used it in aggro before, and I didn't use it last week. But you're going to see a different Stanley. I won't say what it is, but you will see a different Stanley. I don't think leg kicks are going to affect me like they did before. I don't think hooks are going to affect me like they did before either. Because in every fight, I'd get hurt and I'd be almost finished. That won't happen this time.
Stan has shored up the defense. I, for one, am looking forward to seeing the new and improved 2.0.
I think it is a 2.0. I think people are going to be surprised.
Do you think that your position as being a heavy favorite coming into this is warranted? Do you think that your championship experience?
Yes.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes, I can cut you off. I can cut you off here. Yes, I should be the favorite against every single person on Xbox who's not named Chad. In my opinion, I should be the heavy favorite against everyone who's not Chad.
Do you think that there's anything about Ed's game plan that might give you trouble?
I think anyone who tries to stand in front of me is going to lose, just because I think I'm the best striker on Xbox when it comes to just standing in the middle and trading. I think his best chance to win is to be explosive and try and pressurize me. But that's where, I got a few other tricks up my sleeve. If he comes out on the front foot, especially in that first round, because I am a slow starter, I need that round to read their movement. So if he does that, I will be in a bit of trouble. But the moment that first round ends, I think I'll be fine.
Stan, what would it mean for you to become a champ at 55, given the experience down at 145, having the history that you do in this organization? Would this be a big deal for you, or is this just another day at the office?
I would say it's a mixture of both. I think if I win the belt, I'm 100% the GOAT on Xbox when it comes to aggro. I don't think anyone can take that away from me. I've literally done everything everyone else has done and done it better at that point. In terms of... But that's not it for me. I do want that 170 belt as well. I want to be champion of all 3 weight classes. Maybe not simultaneously, but eventually I want to be 170 champ as well. So Torres, he's the champ right now, right? He's a striker. He knocked out, was it Ozzy in 40 seconds?
Yep, just about.
Yeah. I would have knocked him out in 20. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm positive I'll be all right against Torres. So, I'll defend 155. I'm not saying I want to win the belt and go up. That's crazy. I want to defend. There's a whole division of new challengers.
Is there anybody at 155? Is there anybody at 155 right now that you sort of see as threats down the road, or do you think that it's a pretty... Cody?
I want to fight him. I want to fight Jiri. Thunderdome. I want to fight him because he looks better on Xbox. He's been winning fights, and also I think beating him would be hilarious live.
Cody is making his 155 debut on this card as well. Could see you guys matched up in the future. Stan,
I get against Irish as well, who's a guy that, you know, if you beat Irish, I'll look at you. I'll look at you.
Stan, what are some last words that you have for the people watching about your fight tomorrow?
I don't want to say it's going to be a masterpiece because last guy said they got knocked out in the second round. What I will say is I'm very confident that if the game plan that I want to execute, because I do have a game plan, I am quite smart when it comes to these things. I won't just come in and, you know, be a madman. If I execute it, I will win within the first 3 rounds.
Stan, thank you for the words.
So good.
Absolutely loved having you here in the insights. Can't wait to see you in the Octagon tomorrow night.
Thank you. I can't wait to hear this you guys commentate after. Thank you.
You guys heard it here first. Stan expecting some big things in that 155-pound title fight. Moving down, though, the 145-pound fight. We've got Chad here fighting for the belt. He is currently the #1 contender. I believe he's the #2 pound-for-pound aggro fighter, former PS champ, moving over to Xbox. This guy has had history on history. He is the Greek and Roman, pantheon of aggro. Chad, how you doing today? Chad's not in here yet. Chad, you here? I see him in the Discord. Chad, welcome.
I'm in. What's going? Oh, I'm listening to myself on replay. Hold on. Hello. What's going on? It's the true Geordie. Good.
Chad, welcome. How you doing today, man?
Been better.
Better. Anything specifically plaguing you today?
The weight of the troglodytes beneath me. No, nothing's plaguing me. I feel tremendous. I'm ready to put on an absolute show tomorrow and prove I am Mr. Agromania. I am the true showstopper.
Do you think that a win over Fro really cements you at the top of the all-time greats list in aggro?
I think a loss against the Fro cements me as at top of the list of the all-time greatest in aggro. I think my resume speaks for itself, but a win certainly helps. I think he's a very underrated fighter. I think the fact that he is my closest fight on the predictions illustrates that. I think there are fair questions to be asked of whether I am at the top of my game on Xbox, and I think that's fair enough to say. It's a shame he's not here, so I could call him a bitch to his face. But no, let me say that it is a serious thing. It's a very interesting thing, and it is a massive opportunity for me that I deserved without the last fight, let's be honest. But I got it out of the way, and I won very dominantly.
Now, you mentioned a couple seconds ago some questions, right? A couple gray areas maybe coming into this one. And one thing that I got for you, Chad, is, well, you've got such a great ground game. I mean, that's the first thing that people think of when they say Chad. But you also have won a kickboxing tournament, right? That's under your belt as well. Do you think that, while you consider the Fro underrated, do you believe that your striking itself is underrated? And if so, do you plan on maybe implementing a stand-up game at all with the Fro, right? Make a statement on the feet.
I'm considering very heavily just kickboxing with him completely and choosing a kickboxer class. I've been focusing purely on kickboxing for this camp, and it's been a completely different camp to my normal ones. I haven't put on as much time as I have normally into fights like the Eddie 2 or things like that, because I've been busy otherwise with other things. But I'm still certain I could win on the feet, on the floor, wherever it goes. It's just that it depends on the class I choose. Obviously, they've made changes to Dominator, which is a factor going into it, but I don't think it'll be too big of a factor. If I was to choose Dominator, if I was to choose anything, I might even let the person who comments first on Twitch let me choose my person. It doesn't matter. I still assume it will be a win either way. Whether I have to grind out for 5 rounds and he's a very tough opponent and I'm not 100% on Xbox, or I have to go out there and finish him the first round which is the most common outcome when you fight me.
Now, you bring up the next question that I had for you, Chad. You spoke about maybe you haven't prepared as much for this fight. You've switched consoles and you don't feel 100% there. Do you think that your game plan is potentially limited on this Xbox console?
No, I don't think it's limited at all. I think it's the exact same ceilings. I'm still a top 100 player on any console you put me on. You could put me on a fucking PS2 and I'd be a top 100. But it's a case of realistically, it is a case that I don't feel as comfortable on Xbox. But then I played PlayStation the other day. I didn't feel comfortable there anymore because I had been focusing purely on Xbox. There is something with Xbox where I don't like the controller, and it is a little thing, but I think it also plays psychologically. And Aggro is 20% a psychological game. I do believe that it will have some factor into this. But as we saw against Raw Dog, even in fights which I'm against resistance, all the questions of my stamina and questions of all bollocks like that, I still had 3/4 of my stamina bar against Raw Dog, the third round at the end of the third. It isn't a case of I'm going to blow my load or there's going to be a problem. It is a case of put the bootstraps on, sit there, put him on his fucking ass, or decide whether I want to stand with the guy. I haven't decided yet. As far as game plan goes, a win.
Win. Chad, you heard it first.
Yeah.
Looking for a win. Now, you mentioned the ambidextrous nature of your ability to go back and forth between PlayStation and Xbox. And referencing the pound for pound list, you're number 2. There really is only one person ahead of you. Do you think if you're victorious tomorrow that you and Ganja is the next logical fight to make sometime down the line?
I hadn't actually thought of that. I wanted Kane.
So moving up.
Would make more sense that I would fight Kane or go back and fight Bumrock. I don't enjoy the Ganja fight. I don't even really respect his abilities when it comes down to clinching and things like that. I don't want to fight against someone who just clinches constantly. If you saw him fight against not Umbro Slides, that I don't even remember his name. He only has 10 followers. Who fuck him anyway? The VFF bum boy, whatever. Anyway, nothing against gay people, obviously, but. But obviously, no, he fought that geezer and he just fucking clinched his head off. There's no point in me fighting someone who's going to just try and do that to me in a fight that's going to be lackluster for people to watch. Do
you think that maybe because you have such a disrespect for his game plan that putting him into the ground would be a notch on the belt that you maybe don't have to this point?
I don't think I don't want to fight him realistically. I'd rather fight someone along the lines of Kane, who I respect and who I actually respect and have admiration for their abilities, who isn't a troll by personality. Either that or Bumrock, someone along those lines. Someone who's anyone. If you have a shut the fuck up, Jamie. Anyone who has a prolonged run with the 145 belt as well, I'd consider. It really is a case of if I was going to go back to PlayStation, it's very much like Jules St. Pierre, the GOAT. I would only go back for someone who I deem appropriate and I want to fight, because I am ultimately, after I beat the Throw, there's not really many contenders at 145. I am close to vacating them. I might even go after Stanley. I like Stanley a lot, but I don't know where I'm going after this. I have to get through this fight, win 100%, hopefully win dominantly. If not, I just win. I don't care if I win dominantly or win. After that is when I will decide what I will do next.
Do you think that there might be any potential at the Xbox 170 division, right? We just saw Aussie get dispatched by Ian last week. We've got Liam coming back, some really serious contenders. Does any of that interest you moving up there?
Not particularly, but I've always wanted. I come over to Xbox to fight Stan and Bisping. I think I want to fulfill that, but Bisping's not far away from. I'm pretty sure you could put Bisping in a title shot, give him someone's fodder. Even yourself, put someone in, give Bisping to me, and see what happens. But I've always wanted those two fights with Stan and Bisping. Ian, I guess if they do something incredible and impeccable and keep looking as good as they did, I guess it would make sense. The PlayStation tournament winner versus the Xbox tournament winner, I guess, would look good. But as of right now, I don't have any illusions as to that being my next fight. But it could change again. Liam interests me more than Ian.
Chad, what are some last statements that you have before we fight tomorrow night? You want to tell the people?
I think it will be rinse and repeat like all of my other fights have been. Realistically, I don't know whether I'll choose to strike a bit more this time because I might be using a class that isn't dominated. But there are little things in this that make me I wouldn't say nervous, but they make me apprehensive because you do always have to be careful in aggro. Because even in fights like the Raw Dog fight, which was a very routine fight, I still got rocked, and you do get caught occasionally, and it is how you recover from that separates the wheat from the chaff. And I obviously am the cream, and I obviously rise to the top wherever I go. But even if I win or lose this fight, I will claim this belt. If I have to take on some contenders and rematch the throw, if I lost, which I won't, I'll do that. But I want this fucking belt. I want to be 145 champion on Xbox, PlayStation. I want to be the first 2 console champion there has ever been.
You guys heard it here first. Chad is the cream. Looking forward to seeing how you adapt tomorrow night, Chad, against the Fro. Going to be an interesting one. Best of luck to you.
Out Montgomery penis.
Now, next we've got Dosser, who is going to be facing off against. Pull it up real quick. Should have had this up beforehand. Umbro Slides, yes. That's going to be an absolute banger. Dosser in here yet?
Hang on, I'm off, boys. Hang on.
Dosser, really stoked that I'm able to pronounce your name now.
Yo.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, mate. What about you?
I could not be better.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
So the first thing that I got for you, Dosser, right? This is a big opportunity for you. You've got the chance to string together back-to-back wins, moving up in the rankings. Is there any pressure, or are you confident in your abilities? Does this feel, right time in your career?
Yeah, no pressure, mate. But, I'm just very confident in my ability, and I think I'll get the job done.
Do you believe that your confidence stems from your massive experience in that PlayStation 155-pound division?
Yeah, 100%. I don't think nobody in 55 can strike me, to be honest. I don't think anyone in aggro can strike me, being perfectly honest. But yeah, it'd be interesting. Excited, ready. Let's go.
Do you think that Umbro brings anything to the table that might give you problems, right? Do you think there's any threats within his game plan?
Yeah, I know he's a good wrestler. But as far as that goes, if the connection holds up and it's fine, I can't see him getting a takedown, to be honest.
Do you think that there maybe is a bit of a question with UFC 4 News coming into this, right? He's only had very limited experience in the cage. Not a lot of people know what the ceiling is for him. Does that concern you at all, or do you just have that much confidence within the hands and the game plan?
No, I know he's good because he's been double champ in is it MMA gaming? I think it is. So he can definitely play the game. So we'll see what happens. But I'm still confident.
Dosser, you're victorious tomorrow night. What is next for you?
Jordan or Ganja, one of them two. Either or.
Perfect. Any last statements to the people watching?
No, just tune in tomorrow. It's going to be good.
Can't wait to see it. Best luck to you, Dosser.
Ta-da, boys.
Morbid, the former 155 champion on PlayStation, is 170 champion on PlayStation. Having a bit of a tough skid as of recently. Morbid, how are you doing today?
Oh, hi.
Morbid, welcome. How are you feeling?
Never better, in fact. I'm very happy. This is the happiest I've ever been, in all honesty. I've got a fight on tonight in Cage Rage. And I've got 2 fights tomorrow. Cage Rage is not as good as Aggro, but Aggro is so good. And I'm fighting Kingfisher. Now, it's definitely a downgrading opponent from Jordan, but I've moved away class, so...
Do you believe, Morbid, that maybe dropping in the quality and sort of, from your perspective, potentially picking up a, some would say, easier win just to get you back on track? I mean, a 2-fight skid is definitely something that you just hate to see, especially with a guy with your skill set. Do you think the drop in opponent is warranted?
Probably, but I feel like in the 2 fights, Jordan, did I lose? Probably, but I didn't fight horrifically. Ganja, I was dominating him and he got a sub. Now, post-patch, I beat Ganja, you know it, we know it. Against Jordan, I feel like the fight, I do things differently, but I think in a 5-round fight, I beat Jordan. just the 3 rounds was a bit awkward. I'm not very used to 3-round fights. And that's my excuse for that one. The excuse for the Ganja one is the submission. So yeah, I'd say on a 2-fight losing streak, fighting Kingfisher is probably warranted.
Do you think that being back in the 170 Shark Tank, that there are any obstacles down the line? I mean, you've got people like Frankie Mitchell, you've got Embrace the Grind, you have Cardi, and then Kane up at the top. Do these people scare you at all, or do you feel prepared to just make a run?
I beat everybody apart from Chrissy, because Chrissy's Australian and I fucking hate playing on ping. So, I mean, but I probably won't end up fighting Chrissy because he'll lose his next fight, I guarantee. After I beat Kingfisher, I don't know what I want. I'd say I'd like Eddie. I'd really like to fight Eddie. Just to shut him up. I like Eddie, nice person, lovely guy, but I'd just like to punch him a bit.
More, do you think there's been some statements recently about your ability to be a pot stirrer, if you will? Somebody who can kind of create conflict within people and just emotionally shake up the crowd. Do you think that works into your advantage? Is that part of the game plan, or is that just a byproduct of your personality?
That I didn't understand a word of that, but if you talk, I like taking the piss out of people. It's quite fun. I enjoy it. Especially people who deserve the piss took out of them. Like Kingfisher, he's probably a nice guy, could save orphans on the weekend. I really couldn't care because I'm fighting him. So I do have to kind of, rile him up a bit. I think it always does work in my favour because they'll come up more aggressive. I feel like one of the things I've definitely been working on post-patch is, like dealing with the pressure. But, as Cody Garbrandt said it best, pressure boxing has been nerfed in UFC 4. So I think that plays in my advantage, especially with my submission-heavy style that I now kind of operate on.
Morbid, how do you predict the fight's going to go with Kingfisher tomorrow?
That's a good question. Now, I'm not going to do a prediction because every fight I do a prediction for, I always lose it. So I'm not going to do a prediction this time. If I win, I win. If he wins, he wins.
Interesting statement. Who somebody has to win in the fight. Somebody will walk out of the cage.
Yes. Well,
Morbid, any last statements to people watching?
I've got a big platform here. Probably watch my video on the standing guillotine, and that's the Kingfisher as well. So if you don't, I will standing guillotine you, and that's to everyone in Agro really. If you're not watching that, you'll get standing guillotined. I'm very good at it, when it's not 200 ping. Also, got a cage rage fight tonight. Everyone should watch that. But Agro is better. And yeah.
Morbid, thank you so much for stopping by. Looking forward to your fight tomorrow. Let's see if you can break that skid. Have a good one.
You too, son.
All right. Next up, I believe we have Lynx versus Baker. Right. The prediction line for this so far, 77% of people predict a Lynx victory out of 35 votes, which is a pretty high line, in my opinion, for someone who has alternated wins in their last 5 fights. A win here, lost there, win here, lost there. Lynx, how do you feel today?
Oh, I feel fantastic, man. I'm very excited to fight, and, I'm just ready to put on the show for the boys.
Do you think that the curse continues, the alternating wins and losses, or is this time that you string 2 together?
I think it's time I win 2 in a row. I haven't won 2 in a row since I fought Dossa, I believe. But, no disrespect to Baker, but he's lost 2 of his he's lost 2 in a row, hoping to make it 3, and hoping to make my win streak go to 2.
Is there anything that Baker possesses? Granted, yep, he's dropped 2, but does he possess any skills that you think could give you trouble?
Honestly, no, I'm not worried at all. Honestly, I think he's just kind of like Zabit. He just spins and hopes. Honestly, I might just exploit that weakness and let him gas himself out, or I might, alternate it. I've never, in my belief, I've never shot a takedown in aggro, so this might be the first fight to do that.
The wrestling out of Lynx. May we see? Interesting. Now, Lynx, one question I want to pose to you is that PlayStation 145-pound division is the definition of stacked, right? You've got Umrock at the top, Brandon number 1, Jamie number 2, Greg Mann number 3. How do you think that you stack up with the next guys up there?
Well, truthfully, Greg Mann has already knocked me out in, I think it was the fight before my last one. So, I'm excited to fight him again because I want to redeem loss, obviously, because I do believe I have the skills to beat him. He was just better on that day. Who else was up there? Sorry.
You've got Greg Mann, Jamie, Brandon, and then Bumrock at the champ.
Truthfully, Jamie is the only one I've actually watched fight out of those boys. So I think I stack up well against Jamie, although I know he won't believe that too. But I've been excited to fight Jamie since I joined Agro because I've known him for a while. So yeah.
Do you think that potentially you could move up to 155 in the future?
Well, I was actually there at this in my first Agro run, and I wanted to go back there, but 145 needed people in it, so I decided to go down. But honestly, yeah, I think I'd go back up if I didn't do too well in 145. So yeah, it's definitely a possibility.
Lynx, the company man, as always. What's your official prediction for tomorrow's fight?
Well, the last time I predicted a fight, I got KO'd stiff, but I'm gonna predict one again. I think it'll be a second round knockout in my favor.
Thanks. Thank you so much for stopping by. Looking forward to
No
see you
problem.
back in the cage tomorrow and potentially string 2 together. Have a good one.
No problem, my friend. Thank you. Thank you, Amy.
That is a absolutely deep division right at the top there, PlayStation 145, and that really continues throughout the next 2. I mean, Anja, 11-2, number 1 pound for pound at 155. It's a tough task for anybody. Let's see if Lynx is successful. Next, we've got
Nick.
Jamie. Who do we have next?
Nick.
Nick.
I've got Nick. We're just waiting for him to get in.
Nick is going to be against Stan Shevchenko, who is currently... Let's see. That's not their name, isn't it? You guys got me again with the fucking name. What is the name?
That is a name. That is a name. You're right.
Oh.
1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 9. Won the last fight against Carl. I don't know why I'm talking. The stream can't hear me. Yeah, Stan is 2 and 9. On the recently stopped his loss streak against Carl. Nick's debut at 45 on PS4. Interesting to see how he'll do.
Oh, I see. I was looking at the Xbox division. I couldn't even find them. Okay.
Here he is.
There it is.
Nick's
Perfect.
Here. There you go, Ben. Take it away.
Nick, welcome back to the chat. The first question I have to ask you is, man, you're switching consoles this fight. How do you feel?
Sorry, can you say that again, Ben?
You're jumping across the pond from Xbox to PlayStation. I gotta know, are you comfortable with the change in the gameplay? Do you feel confident?
Honestly, I feel more comfortable on PS than I did on Xbox. I don't know if it's the gameplay, if it's the controller, but it just feels smoother.
Do you think that you match up well with Stan Shevchenko?
I think we both are good at what the other one's bad at. Like I'm getting good at grappling now, and that's obviously not his strength, and he's obviously a really good striker, which not bad at, but all my losses are KOs, so that's self-explanatory.
Have you worked, given the recent loss against very top competition, give yourself credit. The Stan loss, you definitely put up a fight.
Yeah.
And you're still the favorite coming into this one. What do you have to say to the people that voted for you, that chose to put you over?
Genuinely surprised. Very surprised. I know Stan, he's been around for a while, He might not have many wins, but every fight he goes into, he fights hard, he fights good. He's never really had a performance where anyone goes, wow, what the hell happened there? So I was very surprised to see him actually the favorite.
What is your official prediction, Nick?
If I had to put my money on it, second round submission, me.
Second round submission. And what do you believe could be next if you are able to execute that game plan?
Honestly, any fight that I can get, if it's a name fight, if it's a big name, if it's rankings wise, doesn't matter to me. Anyone who steps in front of me, I'll take on.
That's what we love to see. Nick, always down for a scrap. Thank you so much for stopping by. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Ben. You're the man, brother. Thanks, Jamie.
That is going to do it for the people who've stopped by the press conference. It's going to be an absolutely amazing card.
Before
tomorrow.
we go anywhere,
The
Ben,
145
let's
pound belt.
all have a prediction each. Let's do a prediction, me versus you right now. Or the full card. Let's have it. Main event, Ben.
All right,
Here we go.
I'm gonna main event. I think I have to go with Chad. Right, I love Chad's energy. His mindset is one of a champion. He comes in here. He trusts his skills, his abilities. And as much as I like Fro, I agree with Chad. Very underrated. But you have to look at Chad's resume. He is truly one of the greatest. I think he'll get it done. Maybe a late finish, but I think he could get it done by a decision.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think you can go against Chad. We've doubted him many times, and I think it's time to start backing him properly. A bit late maybe in his career to back him, but definitely. Up next we have Ed
And that's,
Oh, sorry, go on.
And I was going to say, Chad does a wonderful job of maybe healing himself against the crowd, right? Some people don't want to vote for him. They don't want to back his horse. But his skills speak for themselves. But absolutely, moving on to the co-main event, the 155-pound strap, I think is going to be around Stanley's waist at the end of the evening. I think he's just too well-rounded. I love his movement, how he implements that in the game, and I think it works really well. And I'm interested to see what those defensive improvements he's spoken about is going to be.
See, I think I'm going to be not very liked for this decision, but I think I'm going to back Ed Cobby. I've seen him stand with Liam. I've seen him stand with Tadpole. I think he can do it. I think he gets this done by KO. If Stanley says wrestles like he said he's going to, he might get it done, but I think Ed Cobby wins this one. He's a veteran.
Moving down the main card, UFC news versus Foster didn't take this one.
Dosser's been talking a lot of shit, saying he's but after his takedown defense against Isaac, he said it's the ping and all that, but we're saying when UFC news he's a lot better on the floor than Isaac is, so I think I'm going to go with UFC 4 new submission.
I have to agree with you. I think that as much as I love Dosser's stand-up, I think he puts a little bit too much weight into it. Very impressive on the feet, but the well-roundedness is what makes mixed martial arts. And seeing as how he got exploited, and that's a big deal, right? Getting exposed like that. If UFC 4 News doesn't come out with a grappling-heavy approach, his fight IQ is 0. But I agree. I think I'm going to go with UFC 4 News on this one.
We also skipped a fight, the rematch, or the re-fight, Bear versus Myron MMA. Cracking fight last week. Yes, probably would have been a fight of the night if it finished. But we have no
the game was the fight was too good that the game couldn't handle it, unfortunately. A lot of people seem to be picking Bear in the rematch. From what I recall, it was a very even fight leading up to that glitch.
Definitely won the one going into that final round. 19-19.
I think I'll just back Bear again. I think that he's just got. While it is very even, I feel he just possesses a couple more tools
to
really get the
very
win.
clinch heavy from Myron, his approach, and I think Bear will adjust to that and probably grapple him a bit more on the floor. Because Bear's grappling is very good, so yeah, I'll take Bear away on that one. Next up, we have the
moving on. We've got
Morbid Mad Lad taking it back up to 170 and fighting Kingfisher, who's won his last fight, I believe. How do you think?
I like Morbid a ton. I really do. I think that his mindset is so good, and I do believe that he's very skilled. But it just seems that there's some situations he gets himself into that he shouldn't be in. Right? He should know, okay, I have the ability to not be here or to get out of this, yet he remains in those spots. So if Kingfisher can sort of repeat what has happened to Morbid in the last couple fights, I think that Fisher could have a pretty decent chance at winning. But I'm going to back Morbid, right? Just because of the experience, just because of the fact that his competition is of a very high level, and I think that he deserves being the favorite in this one as he is.
Yeah, I feel like Morbid will get it done, but if he is going to get caught, it will be on the feet with Kingfisher, as his combinations can be very slick. And Mobley does like to get hit sometimes, so you never know. We've seen it in the Nezzy fight and the Jordan fight.
True, yeah.
But I think Mobley
Did
will
take
grind
a
it
lot
out,
on the
maybe get a
feet.
late submission. But I think Mobley will take it. As much as I don't like to say it. Next up, we have
Moving forward, we've got the Irish Gorilla versus
Cody.
Yuri Thunderdome, our boy
Thunderdome.
Cody.
Depending on what channel you watch him on.
I mean, my experience being Cody's last opponent, recognizing that he really played around it a lot. I mean, he definitely could have finished any of the submissions that he had slapped on me. I have to back him. I think that he's a really skilled competitor. I think the improvements that he's made, and he talks about this endlessly. I mean, if you ask Cody, he's going to talk about being meta. He's going to talk about all of these, things that he's added. But it's proof of concept, right? He's won, and he keeps winning. And so I think that he's got the tools to make his debut at 155 one to remember.
Yeah, as much as I'd like to say I've got Irish, I haven't. He's next interim champ challenger, but that's about it. I think he's not improved, and Cody's improved a lot since he's leaving his last fight. So yeah, I'll take Cody. Or Jimmy Thunderdome, depending on which channel you watch him on.
Seems to have an identity crisis with the promotions that he's. Moving forward, we've got Eddie Murphy, MMA versus Young Cardi. Global Young Cardi, of course, spoiling Frankie Mitchell's debut and then having a great performance last week. Eddie Murphy, kind of MIA, Jamie, if you want to speak on that a little bit.
I can't force anyone to fight. If they're not going to turn up, they're not going to turn up. We move on.
And it's interesting, with his absences, he's still a huge favorite.
Yeah, we've been trying to book him with Chrissy for a while. It's not seen to happen. Young Carter's gone and won a fight, so I think it's time to do the rematch and have the final title eliminator for Kane, because Paul Kane wants to fight.
I'm gonna book Young Cardi on this one. I'm gonna back him, right? I think that he's got the skills to do it. I think Eddie, kind of time away from the cage, what we've seen, it affects people. And Cardi has just ran his way up the division, snapping looks like a 3-fight losing streak last time out. I think he's got a renewed confidence and spirit.
Yeah, we've seen Cardi hang with the best. He hung with MMA bet pick for a good 3 rounds before eventually the fight finished, and he lost. But I think he can hang with the best, and as long as he doesn't walk out and get destroyed on the feet again by Eddie, and may go back to his wrestling base, he might do better than he did last time. But I think I'm going to go with Eddie. I beat both of these guys, so I just thought I'd put it out there. I don't know why I had to say it, but I beat both of them guys. And last up, Lynx versus Baker. Baker has been trying to book against me for weeks. Finally accepts a fight, which isn't me, so I'm not saying much on that. But I think I'm going to...
I mean, Baker was, before his 2-fight skid, he was 2 wins, 1 loss. I mean, that's a pretty decent record in that 145 PlayStation division.
Chad defended
it. So good experience, record a little bit misleading. Lynx, on the other hand, 6-3. Like I said, the alternating wins and losses. That last devastating KO to Greg, man. If I'm Lynx, that is kind of going to be something I remember for a couple cards at least. Yeah. You know what I mean? Getting dispatched like that on I think that was probably on the main card, right? That him and Greg were fighting.
Yes, it would have been, I believe.
No, that's tough, and good that he's picked up a win since then. And I think that he'll do it again tonight, but I think that we're not going to see 100% Lynx.
Yeah, I remember Lynx coming into 55 division looking very scary when I was there. Picking up 3 wins in a row and then losing to Dawson, and he had to retire for a bit. Now he's back at 45. He's not done the best. He probably got the greatest comeback and KO of the year against Jack Lowry, but I think he picks up the win against Baker. I think Baker's maybe a little overrated with their record due to inactivity. Right, so with the prelim, let's do quick fire predictions to finish it off. You go first.
I think we've got Jimmy Roach versus CM8UF up next. CM8UF making his 170 debut on Xbox. I believe he's moving up. It's tough. I mean, Jimmy's had 2 fights, 1 win, 1 loss. CM8UF 3-4. In his last 4 fights, he's 1-3. So, maybe the move up is warranted. I honestly have not really seen either of these guys too much, so I don't really know if I'm going to make a prediction. I guess I'll go with Jimmy.
I'm going with
because he's existing in that.
Just for argument's sake, I'll go for CM8 then. Next up, Stan versus Nick. I'll go for Nick on this one. I think Nick's going to wrestle and show his improvement.
Yeah. Roman versus Highlight up next.
I don't know. That's a good fight. That's going to be one of them fights that maybe not be with the highest level, but it'll be fun to watch. I think I'm going to take Roman.
Make Roman? I'll back Highlight. For no reason.
Colin is 0-3, right? And this is Evan's debut.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And that's
when there's a fight
reflected in the betting line, 82%.
Yeah, okay, we'll give it to Evan.
Yeah.
Right, so your
Let's
fight.
see.
Roman versus Ben.
Yeah, me and Rohan are kind of sitting at that bottom of the division. He's 0-2, I'm 0-3. I want to talk on my record a little bit. I want to say it is a little bit misleading. This is going to be a little self-serving for a moment. The first fight that I had my debut was against Viewpoint, who went on to challenge for the title. My second fight, Nick, who, again, after seeing me get subbed so easily, I can't make a lot of improvement in my submission defense in a week. So that one dropped that one. It's 0-2. Then short notice fight against Cody, of all people. Of course, gonna lose that one, even with all the slack that he gave. We had a great, entertaining fight, but I mean that was a sign my death warrant for that contract. So 0-3, absolutely devastating. However, I think that I have the tools to get it done against Rohan. I think Sam exploited Rohan a little bit, right? Showed how bad he is off of his back. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna knock him down and then finish him on the ground.
I'm good to hear. I'm glad you're confident. I think I'll back
but
you
I
as
have
well,
to be.
just 'cause you're my boy. I have to back you.
Public versus Robbie.
Public.
Interesting. This is a very close fight.
Yeah, Public's a
Yeah,
racing.
I kind of want to go with Public.
I think we'll go with Public too.
Public is he's one of those fighters that just doesn't want to lose. You know what I mean? You knock him down, you throw him in submissions, he'll defend. He just doesn't want to lose. And I love the mindset, and I wish that there's a couple fights that went his way that didn't, because I think that he is a great fighter. But you get matched up against some dogs and they bite. Let's see. Opening the card, we've got Jack Lowry versus Carl.
What a scrap.
Carl being 1, and you said Carl was 1-9, right? Yep. Yeah. Jack 2-5, Carl 1-9. Both are on 5 or 4 fight losing streaks. It's tough to see, but they've fought great people. You know what I mean? So it is still a great fight, and I think that I kind of want to see Carl get it done.
Yeah, I'd love to see Carl get it done, but unfortunately I've seen Jack beat Lynx up for a while, so I think Lynx will get it done. No, not Lynx. Jack will get it done. Maybe Carl might switch up and go for a bit of wrestling, but I think Jack will probably knock Carl out because he'll just lose his head.
Cody is in the Twitter group chat asking for an interview. Do you want to grant him one, or should we just wrap up the presser as is?
I think we wrap up as been going 40 minutes.
For sure. We doing the poster right now, or?
Yep, I'll drop the post on the screen now.
Absolutely. Amazing poster. Huge thank you to our boy DJ Mikey B, former fighter. Could we see him again? Potentially. Either way, phenomenal graphic design work. Always appreciate.
Just drag the poster on now when I can get it. Probably should have done this prior. Here it is. Done, there we go. On the screen now. Another great poster. We'll never miss. Never see a bad poster when it comes to aggro. I believe.
You can see in the top left there. There we go.
I believe the fans are demanding a Cody interview. But he's also not in Discord, so if you don't hurry up, you're not getting one.
Cody, if Cody wants an interview, hop in the Discord right now and we will get you. I do have some good questions for him. I was sad he didn't turn up.
The double champ does what he wants.
Let's see. Cody still not in. Ben, naughty prediction. Thanks, Nick. Dude, I'll always back you, man. Always backing you, Nick.
Oh, yeah,
Robbie Poirier, I'm very scared of the 2-9 public.
Thanks for 25
Cody's here.
Cage Rage. And thanks for resub, Brandon. Yeah, take it away,
Huge
Cody.
ups to Cage Rage. Be sure to tune into their fights today and tomorrow. There are going to be some good ones. Cody, welcome to the booth. How you doing today?
Hey, guys. How's everything?
Could not be better.
I'm kind of on the run right now. I stole the secret formula on how to beat the Irish Gorilla, and he sent his goons after me. Just letting you guys know right now, if you want to beat him, it's really simple for matchups in the future. All you have to do is.
And it seems that the Irish Gorilla's goons have killed Cody. That fight is off. He is deceased. Terrible turn of events for Cody. No, interesting. I think that Cody's confidence is definitely deserved. Gorilla is on a 3-fight losing streak. Cody is a surging competitor on Xbox. I think that he'll get it done pretty easily if he takes the fight seriously.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm shocked that he lobbied for an interview just to leave immediately. That's funny.
Talk about
But,
keeping it short.
yeah. So we'll wrap it up here. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning into the press conference for Agro33. Chad versus Fro for the 145-pound title. Stanley versus Ed Cobby for the vacant Xbox 155-pound title. Looking forward to seeing you guys there tomorrow, 6 p.m. GMT, 1 p.m. Eastern time.